What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple more interesting stories for you guys today, and once again, Nick Walker has got everybody talking with his latest physique update, probably his most impressive physique update so far, another most muscular under really good goon light. 2 days out from the 2025 Mr. Olympia, looking dry, conditioned, detailed, but also full, round, freaky. And this comes a day after we got that crazy physique update from Keon Pearson. And I think Nick probably saw that update and said, okay, bet, I'm going to post another one. Because I really do think that Keon and Nick are the two guys of the 2025 season that are in contention for the most impressive physique update pictures of the year. I think Nick has certainly got a lot of people talking with his, and I think Keon's was just stunning. Because Keon's was to the point where I think everybody that saw it was literally like, okay, Keon's winning the Olympia, everybody else can go home. Nick's are really impressive. I don't know if that's quite the conversation where people are just saying, wow, Nick looks so crazy, everybody else go home. But they are really impressive. And I do got to say, the thing that I really appreciate about both Nick and Keon is they are two of the most popular, talked about bodybuilders competing this weekend. And they are certainly not depriving the fans of anything. Keon knows he looks good. He's posting update after update, video after video. And Nick Walker is doing the same thing. He knows how good he looks, and that's why he's posting updates at 2 days out, where a lot of the top guys are not posting updates like this. Everybody else is kind of wearing a tank top, keeping their shirt on, not showing too much. Nick Walker knows how crazy he looks, and he's posting. Like, for example, compare Nick's update to the update that we got from Derek Lunsford yesterday. Derek showed off his abs. His abs looked really impressive, but the update where Derek is still wearing his tank top, where you can see his shoulders and his arms. And granted, Derek's not actually hitting a pose here, like he's not fully hitting a most muscular. But in my opinion, if you put that side by side with Nick and compare the chest, shoulders, and arms that you can see in these updates, to me it's no contest who is the most impressive. And I think this is why I had Derek in fourth in my predictions, which sounds insane considering what he did in 2025. But when you look at these updates, I don't think anybody quite stands out to me in open like the updates that we're seeing from Nick. These are the type of updates where, you know what it kind of reminds me of is like Rolly Winkler, the old school, like maybe 2016-ish Rolly Winkler in the Magic Mirror, those Magic Mirror Rolly Winkler updates. That's what these updates of Nick remind me of. If you guys remember like that era of the Olympia, that's what people were talking about, was the Rolly Winkler Magic Mirror and Big Ramy Magic Mirror pictures too. And now Nick Walker is pulling it off, and he doesn't even have a Magic Mirror. And if you guys saw my prediction video, I've got Nick in the top 3, but it seems like a lot of people are making the argument for Nick in the top 2. So if you look at, I did a poll on my channel. It got 52,000 votes. So I think this is a pretty good representation of, on average, how the bodybuilding internet fan base is viewing this Olympia. And I put, who do you guys have winning the Olympia? And then obviously, if I didn't have somebody on this list, people commented that name. But by far, of the 4 options that I was able to give, because it limits you to 4 choices, I had Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chupin, and Samson Dauda. And by far, the top 2 were Samson and Nick. Now, Samson had the most votes of the 52,000 votes, with 43% of the entire total vote, which is pretty crazy. That's what, something like 20,000. I'm super bad at math, but something like 20,000-ish votes to have 43%. But Nick Walker is in a close second with 36% of the 52,000 votes. So, like, the internet in general seems to think it's going to be between Samson and Nick at this year's Mr. Olympia. Hadi Chupin is in 3rd place with 15% of the vote. And by far, I was actually surprised to see this the most, even though I myself have Derek in 4th in my predictions. Derek Lunsford with only 5% of the 52,000 votes. So of 52,000 people, only about 2,500 had Derek Lunsford winning, despite everything that Derek did in 2025. So that was pretty crazy to me. So the internet seems to think it's very clearly going to be between Nick and Samson, which really surprised me. Not necessarily that so many people voted for those two, but by how few people voted for Derek Lunsford. I mean, 52,000 people. That's a lot of votes. That's a pretty good sample size of bodybuilding fans, and only 5% think that Derek can win. So if I were to change anything about my predictions, it's looking at this and saying maybe I should have Nick Walker in the top 2. I still think it's a bit extreme to say that Nick's going to win the Olympia this year, but the internet seems to think he could be top 2, and if I had to change anything about my predictions, maybe that would be it, is moving Nick up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this poll. What's your top 4? Who do you think is going to win? What do you think of Nick Walker's update? Now, next up in the news, I saw an update that I thought was really impressive from Martin Fitzwater. Now, Martin is a guy that I did not have on this list, and arguably I should have had him in that top 4 poll that I did, but like I said, you could only fit 4 people, and I felt like Nick over Martin based on the Pittsburgh Pro result was the apt thing to do. But are we counting out Martin Fitzwater here? He's posted maybe the fewest updates out of Nick, Samson, Hottie, Derek, but every update that I've seen from him, he looks bigger than ever, full as a house, 3D, and like this update that we're looking at here, you know, cross striations in the quads, he looks conditioned, he looks detailed. And like I said, being in 4th place last year, it puts him in a weird position because with Nick coming back, I think that most people have Nick in their top 3 predictions. And for Nick to be top 3, we've kind of gone over this, but that means you got to kick somebody out of the top 3 from last year. And then that means whoever was 4th last year is likely getting knocked back 2 placings. So I had Martin in my top 5, but I didn't have him in the top 4 because I think those 2 placings he would get knocked back would be Nick and Derek ahead of him. And because also with him being in 4th last year, him to move up, in my opinion, he has to be able to beat both Nick and Derek, which he was not able to do in Pittsburgh. So by that logic, I can't see him moving up from 4th, and I can only have him moving back, so I have him moving back to 5th. But are we counting him out? Is he a guy that comes in and shocks everybody, and we have a whole new top 3? Because that's also a possibility here, too. I think this lineup could get changed up so much, and that's why I say it's almost impossible to predict this show without having seen the prejudging, and that's why I feel like predictions are more of just a just-for-fun conversation piece type of thing. They really don't mean anything, because without seeing the prejudging, we really don't know. And you've got so many new guys and heavy hitters in this lineup. For all we know, the top 3 might not be anybody from last year. That could also happen. Literally, for all we know, you could have 3 of the Olympia debut guys in the top 3, and then Derek, Nick, Hottie, Samson, they could all be in placings 3 through 6 or whatever. And like one of the guys, for example, I think this will be the final story of this video because we're getting close to the check-ins on the Olympia TV live stream. I highly recommend you guys go check that out. I'll be doing a recap video of that, and then based on who makes weight in Classic Physique, I'll be doing my Classic Physique prediction video probably late night tonight. But Behrouz Tabani, he's one of the new coming guys. I've got him in my top 6 in 6th place. I mean, we could realistically, though, be talking about Behrouz in the top 3. I know it seems unlikely, but there are some newcomers like Behrouz. They're bringing the heat. I mean, this is not a guy that's going to be out of the conversation. To be honest, I'd be shocked if Behrouz is not top 6, and I would not be shocked if he somehow finds himself in the top 3. I wouldn't be. In fact, this is the type of physique I want to see in that top 3. Great condition, aesthetically pleasing, with size on top of that. With Nick, you can critique his midsection. You can critique his aesthetics. With Samson, you can critique his condition. With Behrouz, you can't critique either of those things. He's big, conditioned, and aesthetic. I don't think if he wins, I mean, I think people will probably talk about his legs like they always do, but I don't think if he were to win or be top 3, you could really like pick out a big issue with it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you changing any of your predictions based on some of the updates that we've seen over the last few days? Let me know. That's going to wrap it up for the video, though, guys. I will be posting maybe 2 more videos tonight, so subscribe and stay tuned for those. But as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.